Hello and welcome once again to another edition of the Stench of Truth. It's been a long day and I look like shit. But I know you don't watch my videos because of my incredible good looks, even though I am quite handsome. You want my take on things, and because so many people fail to do the very basic research that is so simple for anybody to do, instead they just listen to the fucking twats on TV or in the alternative media without looking at what the actual facts of the case are. So we have H.R. 347, okay? It's H.R. 347, okay? The so-called anti-protesting bill, okay? Since nobody wants to look anything up, nobody wants to read nothing, everybody wants a pundit's perspective on this, okay? And of course, all of the shills on the right wing and the supposed constitutionalists are all screaming in bloody murder about the horrible, terrible H.R. 347. Well, it's bad, but it's not incredibly horrible. It's not nearly as awful as some of the things that come out of Washington, D.C. So I'm going to read it for you right now, okay? And then we'll talk about it, okay? It's very simple. It's a little over one page, okay? Not a mammoth 2,000-page document that you have to parse with fucking team of goddamn attorneys to try to figure out what the fucking language means. So here you go, an act to correct and simplify the drafting of Section 1752 relating to restricted buildings or grounds of Title 18 United States Code. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. Section 1, short title. This act may be cited as the, quote, Federal Restricted Buildings and Grounds Improvement Act of 2011, end quote. Section 2, Restricted Building or Grounds. Section 1752 of Title 18 United States Code is amended to read as follows. Subsection 1752, Restricted Building or Grounds. A. Whoever, 1. knowingly enters or remains in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority to do so. 2. Knowingly and with intent to impede or disrupt the orderly conduct of government business or official functions, engages in disorderly or disruptive conduct in or within such proximity to any restricted building or grounds when or so that such conduct in fact impedes or disrupts the orderly conduct of government business or official functions. 3. Knowingly and with the intent to impede or disrupt the orderly conduct of government business or official functions, obstructs or impedes ingress or egress to or from any restricted building or grounds, or 4. Knowingly engages in any act of physical violence against any person or property in any restricted building or grounds, or attempts or conspires to do so, shall be punished as provided in subsection B. B. The punishment for a violation of subsection A is 1. A fine under this title or imprisonment for not more than 10 years or both if A. the person during and in relation to the offense uses or carries a deadly or dangerous weapon or firearm, or B. the offense results in significant bodily injury as defined by section 2118E3, and 2. A fine under this title or imprisonment for not more than 1 year or both in any other case. C. In this section, 1. The term restricted buildings or grounds means any posted, cordoned off, or otherwise restricted area. A. Of the White House or its grounds, or the Vice President's official residence or its grounds. B, of a building or grounds where the president or other person protected by the Secret Service is or will be temporarily visiting, or C, of a building or grounds so restricted in conjunction with an event designated as a special event of national significance. And 2, the term other person protected by the Secret Service means any person whom the United States Secret Service is authorized to protect under Section 3056 of this title or by presidential memorandum when such person has not declined such protection. Okay? That's it. That's the whole thing. So let's look at this. Okay? All of the particular actions regarding the restricted buildings are when it is done knowingly. Okay? It's very specific in each one of these. Number 1, knowingly enters. Number 2, knowingly and with intent. Number 3, knowingly and with intent. Number 4, knowingly engages, etc. Okay? There's nothing in here about being in a situation where you are not knowingly engaged in something. Granted, the government can post, rope off, put a sign up on any building it wants to, okay, to conform to this act, and make it so you can't protest at that place or within a proximity to, which is completely ill-defined and can be determined to be any vague or arbitrary number that they choose as regards feet or meters or whatever, okay? And it's certainly up to conjecture, what exactly does it mean to impede the function of the government, okay? Now it does quite clearly say that if you go with the intent to impede government function or government business, and you actually do that result is actually achieved, that you do actually interfere with government functions, then you'd be guilty under this. Okay? Of course, the physical violence part, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. If you go anywhere and commit physical violence on somebody, you're liable to be arrested for assault. So, I don't see a problem with that particular thing. Okay, maybe these punishments are a little egregious. You get 10 years if you used a firearm or deadly weapon, or what you did resulted in significant bodily injury. And then you get imprisonment for not more than a year, which means you could get less than that, or both in any other case. In other words, any other thing that you did under this act that did not involve the use of a deadly weapon or a firearm and did not result in significant bodily injury, okay, you could be punished with up to a year in prison. But that's not a minimum sentence, okay, and fine as well, which is not defined here, which is another problem, okay. So they say in proximity to. Let's see. Okay. All right, and of course, this would also cover people who were protected by Secret Service. So presumably any of the national candidates running for office who are on speaking engagements or whatever around the country who are actually under Secret Service protection, they could use this law to keep you from impeding the functions of government. As long as you're not actually engaged in impeding the functions of government or interrupting an official national event, I don't see anything that restricts protesting per se. It merely would restrict your access to the actual place if you're intent on impeding the actual functions of government or impeding the function of the official event or whatever it happens to be. And also, naturally, it's designed to make you think you can't do this and you can't protest, and that you're going to be fined and thrown into jail if you engage in this kind of activity. And of course, the fear-mongers on the right are throwing this out as a way of saying, look, it's more taking our rights away. Well, you don't have any rights anyway. I mean, the government can pass any law it wants to take away whatever fucking rights it wants to take from you. Okay, supposed rights. You have no rights. Your rights are only as good as you can protect them, or as good as the government is willing to give you. That's it. That's bottom line. End of discussion. Okay, so let me just sum up many ways that you could engage in civil disobedience and protesting. You could go to, certainly if a building or grounds are posted as restricted, no one can enter, naturally you would be trespassing in any case if you went in there. So already you would not be allowed to do that without facing some kind of legal challenge, okay? So, you know, going into the place, if it's already restricted, it's already a law. So, you know, you got to deal with that anyway, which, you know, right or wrong, that's the way it is. Okay, so let's say President asshole is giving a speech at college blah blah, okay? And college blah blah now, whatever the building is declared, you know, this special event place because it's guarded, he's guarded by the Secret Service, okay? And you can't impede the function of the official event. You can't engage in action which is designed with intent and knowingly done so to impede the function of the actual event itself. And within proximity to the place. So say within, you know, 100 yards of the building, whatever. Okay, I don't see anything in this law that would restrict you from going into the building if it's open to the public and not, you know, putting you subject to trespass, or being just outside the building with signs and whatever kind of posters you want to have, and engage in non-disruptive activities that would not be designed to impede the functions of the event itself. In other words, if you're not throwing rocks through the windows and screaming with a giant loudspeaker system, you know, death to Obama or whatever, that actually causes the function to be disrupted, then you're not violating this law, okay? You could line the entire area with signs and people protesting and et cetera, engage in, you know, a certain level of noise and what have you, as long as you're peaceful, etc. I don't see anything that's stopping protest here. And anything else that's in here is just the rehashing of laws that are already in place. Like I said, if something's cordoned off and restricted already, this doesn't change anything. The only thing it really does is say that, you know, it probably sets the actual, you know, whatever the punishment is and, you know, how you would fall into that particular category. Yes, some of the terms are vague, as every law is. That gives the advantage to the government in any case, all the time, whenever they're faced with any kind of people that come against, you know, protest to any laws or are facing any judgment as a result of them. It gives them the maximum amount of leeway to hedge themselves and make sure they get a conviction. So there's nothing new in that. And as far as being able to designate any place as special blah blah, they can do that now. So what's the big deal? It's another big fucking scare tactic, like they're taking something away from you. But just remember something. You don't have any fucking rights anyway, okay? And this bill is largely a big fat nothing. Quite frankly, it's a big fat nothing. So if everybody would do a little bit of research, you know, just read it for yourself, and you'll see. It's not what the fear-mongers are telling you. So I wish people would get their facts straight and talk about what reality is, instead of trying to scare everybody into thinking that something big's coming down. I ain't supporting the government here, understand? You know, we got the Patriot Act and we got all these other crappy laws that say you can't do 2,000 million things. Okay? But let's at least get it right. Alright? And don't listen to the fucking Alex Jones and the other assholes that are going to tell you, Oh, blah, blah, scare, blah, blah, blah. Buy my crap that I'm trying to sell you for fear and scare and fear. Get your fucking facts straight. Read the motherfucking law and find out what the truth is. Okay? This is a big fat nothing. A controversy over nothing. And a bunch of fear-mongers are trying to sell you a bunch of fucking bullshit. Simple as that. Thank you. Good night.